Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. That's the first and last time I'm going to say that. No, I'm just kidding, because I'm sure you're hearing it all the time. Anyways, welcome to Thoughts and Coffee. My name is Sarah Barnes-Humphrey. I'm the founder and host of Let's Talk Supply Chain, the Blended Podcast, and the founder of the Blended Pledge. And I'm super excited to be here with you today. We've got a great show. My trade bestie, Audrey Ross, she's going to spill all the tea about the market and what's happening in the industry, what you need to know in 2026. Plus, we're going to be talking about the wine industry and tariffs. We're also going to be talking about space logistics because it's one of her favorite topics. Plus, things are shaken up over in space. And I think we need to know as logistics professionals where the next frontier of the industry is going to be. But first, let's give a shout out to our show sponsor. That's the Secret Society of Supply Chain. If you have not signed up, it is a free membership group for you. Head over to secretsocietyofsupplychain.com. We are curating a really cool community of supply chain professionals and lots of things to come in 2026. But you cannot participate unless you're a member. We're also going to have some guest opportunities and things like that. So head over to Secret Society of Supply Chain to sign up. Now we've got some new members that I want to give a shout out to. We've got James Eldridge. We've got Kosiachu, and I'm sorry because I probably didn't say that right. Kate Matz, Alex Stone, and Tracy Hamilton. Welcome to the community. All right, let's get started because we've got a lot to talk about. We've been on hiatus for the last 2 weeks. I've been able to take some much needed rest and vacation. I hope you all did as well and had a great holiday. But first, we've got a couple of brand new episodes for you, and all of them are women in supply chain. We ended the year with a bang because we put a highlight, or we spotlighted all of these women in supply chain who are amazing. They've got some great stories, so go and check them out. It's episode 510 with Kendra Tanner. We've also got episode 511 with Jenny Malafarina. And then we've got episode 513 with Megan Rudolph. All really great stories, really great journeys, lots of great advice. Go and check that out. And you can check it out wherever you listen or watch the show, even on YouTube. Then on Thursday, I am going live with the team at Anaplan, and we're going to be talking about AI trends that will define supply chain in 2026. Now, go ahead and click the attend button, even if you can't attend live, because we will send you the recording so you can go and catch up on all of the insights. We've got a lot coming up this month, actually. We've got a LinkedIn Live on January 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern with Blue Yonder. Now, this is more of a case study, and we're talking about compliance to competitive edge and the case for sustainable supply chains. I know they've kind of fallen off a little bit in 2025. We want to bring them back onto the radar for 2026. So again, click the attend button. Even if you can't attend live, we'll send you the recording. Then on January 21st, we are going live with the team at OneRail, and we're going to be talking about turning security standards into competitive advantage. Now, I talked about this a lot at the end of 2025, that you really need to get your security in check for 2026 because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that we need to make sure that we have secure, including data. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. So go ahead, click the attend button and join us live for that as well. Next, in person, we are going to be at Manifest. Now, Manifest is going to be super exciting for the Let's Talk Supply Chain team. I'm going to be on stage about 4 times. We're also going to be recording podcasts on site with a lot of brands who are going to be exhibiting there as well. It's a great place to be. So go and register, go get your ticket. Hopefully we can see you there. If you're a woman in supply chain, we're also hosting a woman in supply chain dinner on the Monday night. So send me a DM and we will send you the registration link for that as well. Also, we are partnering with Supply Chain Brain, and we are giving away the Masters of Innovation Awards. Now, we just got the go-ahead from our last winner. We've got 3 winners that we're going to be showcasing, and they're going to be talking about case studies on stage Tuesday at 12:30, which you're not going to want to miss because they're going to be talking all about their innovation. And we've got some big brands that are going to be a part of this. And then we're going to be giving them the awards on Wednesday morning on the main stage. So that's going to be cool. Then March 1st through 4th. Now we have partnered with TPM for a pickleball tournament, and that's happening on March 1st. So if you haven't registered, make sure you click that button when you do register for the pickleball. Even if you haven't played before, we're going to have different levels. And then also, if you've already registered for TPM, go ahead and go back and register for the pickleball because I can't wait to see you there. Plus, I'm going to be hosting TPM today as well, live from TPM, and I'm going to get to interview all of the faces of the industry at that conference. And this is really a great one. Journal of Commerce does a great job with all of the content. So make sure that you grab your registration right now, and we'll see you in Long Beach. All right, just before I bring up Audrey, I want to let everybody know we have started a Let's Talk Supply Chain Europe page. We've also started a Let's Talk Supply Chain Asia page as well. Now, it used to be formerly Asia Pac. We are going to be bringing you news from those regions, and we've got some exciting new announcements from those regions coming up in 2026. All right, that was a lot. And now it's time to bring up Audrey to the stage. Good morning, Audrey. How you doing?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who's tuning in.
That's true.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. That's a lot, Sarah. You got a lot going on.
Well, this is what happens when I decide to take vacation for 2 weeks and I don't do Thoughts and Coffee for 2 weeks. All of the episodes kind of accumulate, and then we've got to let everybody know about them. And also, we have some amazing topics, like with the LinkedIn Lives and things like that. And it made sense to do them in January because they're really big topics that are going to set people and professionals and leaders up for the rest of the year. So yeah, we've got a lot going on this month, but we've got a lot going on for 2026 and so many announcements and things like that. So if people are following Let's Talk Supply Chain on LinkedIn, you're going to miss out because we're going to be rolling out announcements, I think, almost every couple of weeks. So
I love it. I love it. Great start to the new year.
Right?
Yes, I'm sitting here in very gray, not necessarily inspiring Toronto. But
I heard it was what, like minus 23 or something?
Maybe last week. This week it's warmed up. It'll actually be quite warm this week and like rainy. So you get they do these little triangles with the cloud, which I don't know if other places have that. But it's like ice rain.
Oh,
so we'll see how that goes.
That's fun. Okay, just
not
be
cold
careful.
Enough for snow, not warm enough for rain. Ice rain.
And you talked about starting off this year, right? I don't know if anybody saw my LinkedIn post from yesterday, but I went out to an appointment in my slippers. I was driving and I looked down and I was like, really? I think it was Sophia. She was like, at least you didn't go out barefoot. And I was like, well, maybe that's next. Who knows?
Yes, that could be Wednesday. That could be Thursday.
Oh, that's so funny. Tell everybody what you do.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we missed out.
I'm celebrating 20 years in like this trade compliance, logistics, ocean shipping career. Today I'm representing an organization of Women in Trade Toronto chapter, or Women in Trade International, which is OIT, which is such a great group. And so we're getting ready for our AGM and also kicking off our year and, hoping to find some volunteers and put on some programming for our members who are, being challenged with everything that's been happening in the last little while in trade and in trade policy. So happy to join in today.
Awesome. Well, I also changed my desk around, and so I've got the second screen over here. But I've never used 2 screens in conjunction, so I have to like move my mouse. Anyways, this is gonna be
it's a little.
This is gonna be fun. We're gonna figure this out as we go along. So, I think what we want to do is we want to go to the poll next. I got to get back into this. I need to know, where
it's
we're
poll and then articles and then
no market update. You forgot the market update. All right, let's get to the poll first. Let's do the poll. So we ask everybody a question every single Wednesday morning across the Let's Talk Supply Chain LinkedIn. And this question, if you could fix one thing in 2026, what would it be? So we had over 100 votes on this one. People really like this one. 52% of you said stop reacting and start winning. And then we had a tie at 24% that said chaos down, sanity up. And fewer fires, better sleep. So there's a bit of a running trend on this one, I think. Which one did you pick and what do you think?
Yeah, I think it was the fewer fires, better sleep. You and I know who talked about my sleep schedule. It's a hot mess. So definitely trying to bring some discipline into the new year. I think too. I think all of us know that there's, like you can get caught up. The fires, the firefighting, the reacting. It's exciting. It's kind of exciting.
Yes.
It feels very vibrant. But like my 2026, it's like boring. Like make supply chain boring. Make trade boring. And obviously we can't control the external circumstances, but I know that we're all sitting with a little list of like these small, unsexy, unglamorous things that we could fix, that are fixable, that are like little, like if it's not data governance, if it's not a kind of process adjustment, if it's not like a little refresh training, like there's things like that one, you can control, and two, they're not exciting, but they fix things and they kind of bring in that sense of routine and control that I think felt very chaotic and stressful last year.
Well, I hate to break it to you because the last article that we're going to be talking about, I think, is going to make trade compliance a little bit more exciting and chaotic as well.
Well, you want some excitement.
We're going to get there.
A little bit of excitement. You want exceptions.
We are going to get
Friday night.
So now I want to do the market update. Like we have been on hiatus for the last 2 weeks. People have been, working here and there, but there's been lots going on. So set the tone for us right now. Where are we at right now? What are the things that we need to pay attention to?
I think we'll start in Europe. I think there's been some consistency to the ceasefire in the Israeli-Gaza situation, which has led to the kind of Houthis group in Yemen, who've been kind of blocking that route, which is the Suez Canal or Red Sea route, from Asia into Europe. I think there's been some stability there, and it's been such it's been a challenge for businesses to add in that extra 15 days for vessels to go around the continent of Africa, that people are very
eager.
Would really eager is the word. Would like to see us back through the Suez Canal. And so I think that'll be a hot topic for that European trade as well, because if that does situation change and the vessel carriers start moving through that route, the commercial goods, then there'll be a huge impact in backlog and port disruption period, which I think Lars Jensen estimated like could be 8 weeks, 10 weeks of disruption. So, that's significant enough. But then once things get back into the routine of it, then you're back to your, kind of 5 to 6 week shipping time, as opposed to your 8 to 10 weeks, which you have. Like right now from Korea, it's like 10 weeks. It's killing me.
Wow.
So that is like on the, everybody's kind of got their eye on that one. I think in other areas, there's been, I think we're going to mark about a year of that Gemini alliance. And they had kind of changed their whole routing module to this hub and spoke concept. So we'll have about a year's worth of kind of data and feedback to look at by the time we all get to TPM in March. And then everything else, like I don't think there's any major labor port issues kind of on the horizon in terms of what are contracts and contract expiries. So that, at least we can kind of put to the side until next year, the year after. And then otherwise it's the kind of trade policy, geopolitics shifts that we've been seeing very, very aggressively through 2025, and that's expected to continue. And so then it's how do we cope with what we don't know?
Didn't we talk about some sort of refund or something around the tariffs? Did that ever?
Sure, yes. Okay. So tariffs. So in the U.S., the Supreme Court is still hearing or putting together their judgment on that appeal, which are the IEEPA or EPA mechanism that was used to deploy tariffs. Is that illegal? And if it is, then there is a very large potential for refunds. We've got some great experts over on LinkedIn, Pete Mento, Jen Diaz, a bunch of people who are able to kind of comment on the progress on that. So you definitely tap into your trade compliance control for that. And then if those refunds come through, what the process is, what you have to do as an importer who had been paying those tariffs.
How long,
every single shipment detail, where it came from. So trade compliance people know that the paperwork is a big a big gathering. Like you've got to make sure you've got that process in place. And if they're deemed not illegal, then what does that look like for the trade landscape? And the reality is this, we know this is an administration who uses tariffs as a specific tool in their trade relationship. So if it's not through this mechanism and that mechanism gets taken away, then what is the mechanism, right? And is it back to, there's other mechanisms that have been deployed, Section 232, which is specific to products and types of products. And then there's Section 301, which is another kind of avenue. So it's not that maybe tariffs are going away, but tariffs deployed as they were using this mechanism could be subject to refunds. And
well, and to put that into perspective, this morning on Good Morning America, I think it said that there was $600 billion that was brought
collected
in through
revenue.
So when we talk about this, taking a while, there having to be a process. I mean, there's a lot of money on the line. And so obviously we have to work through that and figure that out once the decision is made. But I think everybody is just in a waiting pattern right now.
It's in the collecting your documents, understanding exactly from your ACE portal
have all your documents.
What went through, what might be applicable, put those document packages together, consult with the trade compliance lawyer to see if you're going to do a suit, and just really start to brush up on the process and pay attention to kind of what's happening. It's expected, in the next couple of weeks, like by the end of January, beginning of February is kind of what has been tossed around. So it's going to come in hot.
It's going to be a lot of work. All right. Brace yourself, people. All right. We're going to get to our first article that I want to touch on very, very quickly. There's a little bit to talk about here. This company, I came across this company and I'm not entirely sure how I found them. But the reason why I wanted to bring this to light is, number one, Audrey's favorite topic is space. And so I wanted to start off the new year right by talking about your favorite topic. But also they're talking about an on-demand delivery system for space infrastructure. And one of the things that they're doing is they're delivering raw materials for in-orbit manufacturing. Now, I hadn't heard of in-orbit manufacturing before. If anybody has heard about that before, or you've got anything on it, please send it to me, because I'd like to understand what that actually means. Like, are we manufacturing from, ground up in orbit, or are we manufacturing in the fact that maybe something went wrong and we need to do something about it? What did you think about this? Because this is fairly interesting. This company is doubling down on space logistics.
And I think it's so important, and I think we're going to see more of it. Maybe 10 years ago, we were talking about doing hotels in space. We've seen the Bezos Blue Origin and the Virgin Galactic and the SpaceX. So the private company side, the private side, really come to the forefront in the last 5 years in partnership with NASA, and some other national space agencies. And I think that's only going to continue. We are seeing huge investments from regions like the European Union, Canada, China, and India, who have been doing, significant, experimentation, investment, manufacturing into space. Trainings. So this is definitely a huge area. It is kind of really coming through. So being kind of this company at the forefront of this specific technology is huge for us. So.
Well, and there was this quote at the bottom of their homepage that says, "The Earth is the cradle of humanity, but one cannot live in the cradle forever."
Very good.
I was like, that is very ominous, but I think it sort of puts it into perspective as to the fact that this is coming. This is not pie in the sky anymore. This is what's happening.
very, very much a reality. Things are definitely happening in space.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So let's get to our second article. Now, this one I chose because we've been talking about tariffs. And actually, I should probably just scroll up just a little bit before I show you that one.
Yeah, show the vine.
I want to know who that is. That looks like who does that look like? Anyways, I'm going to get myself in trouble. I wanted to bring this particular article to light. Now, everybody knows that I like the hustle. And they talk about supply chain in various different ways, in different ways of thinking about it and talking about it. Now, this one in particular is about the war over wine, but it's not what you think, I don't think. It has to do with the tariffs. And as I was reading through this, in March 2025, 6 Canadian provinces banned the import and sale of American beer, wine, and spirits. Mm-hmm. And Canada, for California wines especially, is the largest foreign buyer. I think it was at 35%, which in 2024 was $460 million. Now, I'm going to go back to that picture that I had originally started on because I want you to see the impact that the tariffs have made to the wine industry as it is right now. People are still hopeful, but I don't know. It's going to take a while to bring that back up, or it's really going to look a lot different within the next couple of years. What did you think of this article?
One, I think it's great because it really gives the numbers clearly and it has a great graphic with the vines. Two, I think it really gives you the stark impact of some of these, and taking it out of U.S. and Canada relationship context, geopolitics, these decisions that countries make about the trade they're having with other countries. Right? Because you have relationships between two countries, bilats. You have relationships between multiple groups of countries like ASEAN or European Union or NAFTA, USMCA. And it just gives you such a stark example sometimes of there's decisions being made that, a government has been brought in to make these decisions that they want to change a certain avenue of their economy or a certain way that they want to change it. But there are companies or sectors that get significantly impacted, and in this case, negatively impacted by those changes. So even though a country might decide that, for economic sake, we're trying to make this positive forward motion, right? And that's what people have agreed that they want their country to do. The reality is there can be significant sectors and areas of business that get really hit hard by these transformational changes. And I think the wine industry is in particular in the US and alcohol sales in this specific relationship are the sector that is being hit the hardest.
Yeah.
It is a shock. And it's also shocking to realize how much Canadians drink. There's not even 40 million of us and we're clearing 40% of the US's wine globally. Like to party up here, I guess.
Well, we definitely, Canadians definitely like their wine. Now, Before I keep going on this particular article, I want to give a shout out over to Martin on our Let's Talk Supply Chain Instagram from Singapore. Thanks so much for joining us. And then we've got Mike from Copenhagen and we've got Richard from South Florida. Now, I forgot at the top of the show, this is how I've been in vacation mode to say, if you're watching, I want to know where you're tuning in from. So make sure to put that in the comments. And if you like the conversation, give us some fire emojis. We love our fire emojis here at Let's Talk Supply Chain. All right. So the rest of this article, and I highly recommend that you go and check it out because they do talk about how Americans are actually drinking less. So you're talking about Canadians, but they're talking about Americans are drinking less. By the end of 2025, 4 out of the 6 provinces still have the ban. And so what is happening right now are Canadians are turning to Ontario wine. And so they're unsure what the future of the industry and the trade between the two countries around wine is going to look like in the future. One of the parties that were quoted in here talked about how because of the shift, such a big shift, there's a lot of waste because they're growing a lot of grapes. And I think they were saying that 400,000 tons were left abandoned because they don't have the demand anymore. And so not only are we, and so the reason why I say that is because I want us to really understand the impact.
The full consequences.
the full consequences, and it impacts different industries very differently. And of course, you can shift, you can change, but that also doesn't happen overnight. And so the waste is in the abandoning acres. They're abandoning acres of vineyards. But what they're looking at right now is new ways of approaching inventory. Now, they don't necessarily know what that looks like right now, because these vineyards, these grapes, that's their inventory to be able to make that wine, to be able to produce it, to meet the demand. But now they're thinking about, okay, what are the new ways of approaching industry or inventory? Do we need the land? Can we grow the grapes differently? Can we grow them maybe vertically? Potentially, right? I don't know. So the wine industry moving forward is going to look very, very different. And it's because of the tariffs and what they have been put through to get to that point. And so it's not all doom and gloom in the fact that obviously the industry has had a big hit, but at the same time, they're also optimistic that sometimes these things need to happen so that we can see change and innovation as well. So I'm glad that they're, thinking hopeful, but it'll be interesting to see what that industry looks like in the future.
And it gives you that white space, right? Like it's forced, and I think I said this on the show last year, like I'm in a position where externally I've been forced into, improving my processes or actually documenting that SOP because, okay, now we're in a position where I've sort of been externally forced, and, it's not fun, but it can be necessary. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to our last article because we've only got a couple of minutes and this one is fascinating.
Yes.
So this company called KYG has created this AI assistant. It's an AI trade compliance assistant. And I don't know if any of you know this, but to become a customs broker, you have to have a license, or to be a customs broker, you have to have a license. So you have to go through this exam. It's the same, I think, across the countries. I don't know if the exam is the same, but here in the US, it's called the CBLE. And they ran the test through their AI trade compliance assistant. Now, this exam takes 4.5 hours, and they did it in 5 minutes with a 93% success rate. Wild, right? And without compromising, like they're talking about how they're not compromising sensitive data, and they're not using data from their clients or something like that to train it. I mean, they've got to have data somewhere to train it to be able to,
like public data from CBP.
Yeah. So what did you think about this? I mean, you're in trade compliance. You're doing a lot of this stuff kind of manually, right? So does this scare you? Does it excite you? Like, what does this mean for the industry?
I mean, shout out to Leslie Levy, August, and KYG, because this is a fascinating, with everything else that was going on, to kind of take the time and kind of build out this AI assistant. That's really innovative and really a great next step. I mean, I think I think a lot of us can agree, if you're doing customs, there are a lot of things that are very manual and they are very repetitive. And so what can end up being kind of, not to say that, 2026 is going to be boring, but that can be a bit boring for people. And so they want the analytics, right? Where you want to be able to spend time on classifying your product or developing new products. And so that repetitive manual entry input, we've already seen that CBP, like US Customs Border Patrol, is working with AI tools to kind of help their agents do, again, that manual repetitive stuff. And I think this is a great case study for no one really wants to do the manual repetitive stuff. So AI is going to solve that problem and leave you to do the more interesting dynamic work of trade compliance. So to me, it's more a great use case and the best intentions of AI, as opposed to some of the other things we've seen where it's like, it's going to be creative, but I still have to fold laundry. So I think this is fascinating. I think it's great.
Well, you might not need to. I mean, robots are coming.
Hopefully, because it's just the worst.
The whole folding laundry. I think I've had conversations with people in the last.
We hate it. Give me the robot with laundry, and then the manual customs entry, and then let me do the oh my gosh, you guys came up with this new pump. Am I going to put that in 84? Or am I going to put that in 96? What are we doing? Give me the fun stuff.
Well, it'll be interesting because that exam, they may have to change it. We're not sure. The future of customs brokers license exams. I don't know where we're going. Stay tuned. We'll let you know once we find out. Anyways, want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in today. Audrey, thanks so much for joining us. I know you got to hop off, and we'll see you all next week. Ciao.
Bye.